embryo. It grew as an individual being on another axis. He tried to crush it down and embedded it into a new embryo. It developed. He boiled it for 2 hours actually, until he thought it's absolutely dead. And he injected it into an embryo. It did developed. He actually burnt it until charring, you see. And he embedded it into a new embryo, and it did grow. So he proved that it is the origin of all the body, all the organs of the body, and that it can never decay. It will remain eternally. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, "Kullu bani Adam yabla," every human being will vanish. "Kullu bani Adam illa azman wahidan," except for a single bone. Azman wahidan. And he was asked, "What's that bone?" He said, "It's a seed-like bone at the end of the vertebral column, fi nihayat al-us'us," as if he said, at the end of the coccyx, exactly. And he said, "This will never vanish. And on the day of resurrection, Allah will send down rain, and every person, every animal that lived on the surface of that planet will grow by that rain." In exactly the same parallel, any plant will grow from its own seed. And to me, this hadith alone can be a living testimony for the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and a living testimony that he was not speaking this out of his mind, but this is a knowledge that was revealed to him through Allah, through the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala, 14 centuries ago, because at that time, nobody knew anything at all about the primary streak or the organizer.
Just to verify, in this verse you mentioned two important meanings. One of them was the entire cycle of having wind causing rain, and rain to the soil, and the soil, and we mentioned in the previous episode وَاهْتَزَّتْ وَرَبَتْ, and allowing for plants to grow and so on. So this is part of the verse. And the second part you also mentioned about the day of resurrection.
Yes, but to me, you see, this is the main message of the verse. Because we discussed in previous episodes the fact that the role of wind, the role of rain, the role of running water in the vegetation of the soil and the development of the plantation. But the main message of this verse here is the parable between a plant growing from within the soil through watering by rain or by artificial watering from its own seed, and of course a human being or an animal developing from that seed that was left behind,
brought back to life
from the soil, exactly in the same parallel. And the Quran refers to this on several occasions. He draws the parable between a resurrection and the growth of plants.
Yes. Okay. If we took parts of the verse itself, so one of the parts was is أقلت سحابا ثقالا. So what would this really mean?
Because thin clouds can never be rainy clouds. For a cloud to be capable of dripping rain, it has to be a thick cloud. And we have two main categories of clouds. We have flat clouds that are closer to the earth, that extend for several hundreds of kilometers, and they are thin. And these clouds do not usually carry the load of rain, you see. And we have high clouds, which the Quran describes them as السحاب المركوم, or السحاب that piling up clouds, you see. And the Quran simulates it by a highly mountainous area, you see. The clouds form in high peaks and low depressions in exactly the same way the Earth's surface can be shaped into high peaks and low depressions. And these are called the cumulus clouds. These cumulus clouds are actually the thick clouds, and these are the clouds that contain thunderstorms, contain thunder and lightning, contain many ice crystals, actually. And it is the main cause of very heavy and torrential rain.
Okay. Now let's move for a very short break and return back, so stay tuned with us, and we'll return back for more discussion about this holy verse. to this new episode of Focus Point.
The new generation has the habit of reading more than before.
Jewish question was named basically the problem of Jews who lost their function in society.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Qur'an and Science. And now we move to questions regarding these topics. We'll first start with Abdul Halim Khalil.
Regarding the thickness of the clouds, and how would you know the difference between the thin clouds and other than just its appearance?
Wallahi, the appearance of the cloud itself, if you see the cloud extending horizontally for a large distance, it's usually a thin cloud.
Right.
But when you see the cloud in a patchy pattern and having a huge thickness, and this thickness actually can be reflected by the color of the clouds. If you get a dark colored cloud, this means that it's thick cloud. It must be carrying rain. And this fact is even known to the Bedouins in the desert. If he sees dark colored clouds, they say, yes, rain is expected.
Any further questions? We'll move to Abdurrahman.
Actually, Dr. Zaghlol has explained so much in the verse, and he has replied almost all my questions. But there is a simple fact that I wanted to ask him about. Since the Earth is a planet and it belongs to the same galaxy as the other planets in the galaxy, why the Earth has this atmosphere? I mean, you told us before that this atmosphere is a resultant from the reactions inside the Earth.
Yes.
So other planets, they do not have these reactions inside of them that
No, they do, actually, because there is a unity in the creation. But some planets will have an atmosphere that is somewhat similar to our atmosphere. Others will have atmospheres containing different gases, because Allah has prepared every planet for a role it plays, for a type of life that suits that environment. So we do not expect every planet to have the same chemical composition and physical characteristics of the atmosphere as we have it on our planet. And the atmosphere of Mars, for example, or Jupiter, or other planets is completely different from ours, because it has been made to suit a certain type of environment, and probably a certain type of life, which we would not know of yet.
So do other planets have wind?
Have wind?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
And
Because
it's
once you have an
speedy
atmosphere and you have variation of temperature, you are bound to have wind.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
more questions?
And these clouds that have rain, their composition that is special to make the